I'm Rika Brandon. And today I'm going to share a secret with you. I think it might actually be game changing, if not potentially life changing. All right, for sure, game changing and life changing if you have a team that needs a little bit of an improvement, right? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you kind of the difference between attraction and recruiting. You guys know I talk a lot about attraction-based recruiting. We got to try harder. We have to think about what's in it for them. And so that's how we show up, right? We use an ideal hire profile. We talk about how and where we're going to show up. We make sure we're using language that excites and engages our ideal hires. We're making sure we're getting in the right place. All of that is attraction, right? So that is your job postings, your social media postings, anything that you're putting out there, inspiring people to come back to you. Well, that sounds a lot like marketing, doesn't it? Well, it sure does, because attraction in the realm of recruiting and hiring is the same as marketing. We were worried about our message, we're worried about our platform, and we're making sure we get enough eyes on it, that enough of the right people see it and take action and respond to us. Okay, so that is the first level of recruiting. In fact, if you were to talk to most business leaders, HR people, and small business owners, they would say to you, recruiting is posting a job ad. And of course, I would die a little bit inside as a longtime recruiter, because that is not recruiting at all, as far as I can see. that's posting and praying somebody good applies. So with that, I want you to really think about attraction. And that's why I would say, hey, incorporate your marketing team. Like, they've got great ideas. How do we sell these opportunities? How do we sell our organization? That is a huge part about building your employer brand and getting more people to apply and be interested. You know, I say all the time, I spent a ton of time building my brand for the executive leaders of the building product space, because as an executive recruiter in that space, it was important to me that when they saw my name, they wanted to respond to me, because then I could tell them about my clients' opportunities. So if they'd heard me speak, they'd read my articles in one of the national trade publications, every bit of that let them know, like, and trust me. And then also gave me a much better chance of getting a reply to my outbound messages than my client's HR person was going to have, who they didn't know at all. And lots of my clients are privately held, and they don't have the name recognition that would immediately get to a response, but they still have amazing opportunities in amazing organizations. So that's attraction. And that is really the first part about recruiting. And I always say, attraction is marketing, recruiting is sales. So now we're going to go where, in my opinion, the line in the sand is drawn, of where we move beyond marketing and posting and praying into actively targeting people and seeking them out. And this is where recruiting truly begins, in my opinion. Again, Google might not agree with me, but this is where we're actually seeking people out who have that right experience we want. We're engaging in conversations with them, just like your sales team, hopefully, is doing. We're going to identify people that we think are their best fit. We're going to start talking to them. They're going to tell us no a few times. We're going to keep going until we get a yes, no, or not right now, right? And so that's the same thing. And you know what's great about recruiting versus attraction? Way less people are doing it. You know who's doing it? Headhunters, professional talent acquisition people, really kind of forward thinking, and leaders who probably have better things to do with their time, but frankly don't feel like their team is doing it for them. So they're on LinkedIn firing off messages and doing things like that. So people who are wired to control their destiny lean towards recruiting, right? The reality is we are relying heavily on luck, that the right person sees the opening, or sees the posting, then likes it enough to apply, and then sticks with us to actually get to the offer. Versus in recruiting, we're taking much more control into our own hands, and we're doing harder things. So you know what happens when things get a little bit harder? The competition drops drastically. So when you're on that job board posting your job, you're competing with everyone. That is the easiest thing you can do to hire. When you decide to go into a resume database or start scouring around on LinkedIn looking for people to reach out to, your competition drops. Now, that's amazing, right? But don't get me wrong, I want to be real. The reality is you're also dealing with people who didn't express an interest in your job or your company. So you got to work a little bit harder to get them engaged, but it's worth it because they're not actively interviewing anywhere else. So it is so important for you to have a blend of both that attraction and that recruiting for those critical and urgent to get right positions. And dare I say, any position that's truly important, right? So your attraction and your employer brand are so important on the overall. We're hiring for these positions all the time. That's critical, right? When it's a critical and urgent to get right, that's when we need to move into recruiting and really kind of targeted efforts. So anyway, two sides of the same coin in the world of Rika. Attraction is marketing, recruiting is sales. And what I need you to do when you're feeling not so confident and scarcity is starting to settle in is to think, you know what? Here's the line in the sand. I'm going to get more active and I'm going to start recruiting. I'm going to be more intentional in my networking. I'm going to make active efforts to seek out people who have the experience and skills I need for this position. And I'm going to be brave and do it. So I hope that helps. I think those of you who choose to cross the line and stop relying entirely on luck and getting into recruiting, you're going to like it over here. I sure do. And of course, if you want us to help you do that, reach out to my team. We'll be happy to talk to you about how we can train your team or work with you on different methods to help you get the best possible results for your hiring needs.